This is the BYD Sealion 7, and let me tell you, this is the vehicle that will stand out most to people who are looking for a value-focused electric SUV with plenty of range on offer and plenty of standard equipment too. I'll tell you all about it in this review and some great alternatives as well. So if you haven't already, please subscribe and ring the bell, and let's get to it. There are two different versions of the Sealion 7 on offer in Australia at launch, and both of them offer very good value for money. In fact, the entry-level version is all the electric SUV I think you'll probably really need because it comes really well equipped for the cash. It starts at less than $55,000 before on-road costs, and that premium model has a single motor powertrain with more EV driving range than the more expensive one. So that might be reason enough to choose the entry grade over the high-spec model. Now, as standard in the entry-level grade, you are getting so much equipment for your cash. It has 19-inch alloy wheels, full LED lighting around the car. There is keyless unlocking and push-button start, and you can get it with an NFC card as well. Plus there's smartphone app-based connectivity. There's fake leather trim, multi-way adjustable electric front seats. They're heated and cooled front seats, and it really does have heaps of great equipment for the cash. Like some other vehicles in this segment are charging more than $80,000 to get what this car has at $55,000. It's really impressive. It also comes with some of the bling bling things you might like as standard, including a panoramic glass roof, rear privacy glass, an electric boot. And then there's this one here, which is more expensive. It's the Performance model. As I mentioned, it has a dual motor all-wheel drive setup, and it does add plenty of performance to the table, but a little bit less EV driving range. It also adds a few extra features, including 20-inch alloy wheels with red painted calipers. You get a heated steering wheel and heated rear outboard seats too. So that high grade version might make sense to you if you're okay with spending 64 grand and you want everything that you can get in a Sealion 7. So what else competes with this, and what else should you be considering? Let me tell you some good alternatives. All right, if you're thinking about a budget-friendly family electric SUV with loads of stuff and plenty of range, I don't think you should discount the XPeng G6. It is really impressive in a lot of ways. It's super duper comfy on the inside. It drives pretty well too, and there's two different versions available to choose from, starting below 55 grand, and I reckon it does stack up really, really well against all of the other competitors in the segment. And if you buy now, you might even be eligible for a 10-year warranty for that vehicle as well. If you're thinking, I want the best driving electric SUV that I can get, I am okay with spending a little more, and I just want something that looks a little bit different to everything else, well, how about the Cupra Tavascan? You can check out my review of it in the description below, and it is a really enjoyable car. I loved the rear-wheel drive version. I just hate the fact that you have to spend so much to get some really good features, like ventilated seats. They're part of a package on the top spec all-wheel drive, which means you'll have to pay 82 grand to get into the most highly spec'd Tavascan, and that's what stacks against it. But if you're okay with a little bit less kit, the entry-level version would be the one to go for. And finally, if you are interested in the new generation Tesla Model Y, I will be doing a review of it very, very soon. The Juniper update sees some important changes, a new look, and plenty of tech inclusions as well. Make sure you ring the bell and you'll be notified when my review of the Juniper Model Y goes live. It should be within a couple of weeks of this one going live. So thanks for subscribing. It looks similar to other BYDs, but it has its own distinct design. Well, I wasn't sure about it when I first saw it, but it pulls off its size pretty well. It is a pretty big electric vehicle at more than 4.8 meters long, so that might be something you need to keep in mind about it as well. I'll put all the dimensions on your screen now so you can see for yourself. And I want to just call out, you do get, well, those pop-out door handles that we've come to expect, and yes, you just have to press the button on there and it will pop open for you. Now the key's inside there. Hopefully it hasn't locked me out. They're flush door handles that will close up when the car isn't in use. And yes, just have a look at that rear end design. It's got sort of that coupe style finish to it, doesn't it? But I'm not so sure if it's my favorite looking electric SUV, but I do like elements of it for sure. This rear end design with those signature tail lights is pretty cool, I have to say. You can tell this one is the all-wheel drive because it says all-wheel drive, and it also has the 0 to 100 time on it. Yeah. Okay, let's have a look in the boot and see what we are working with. Just ignore this tray that's fitted in here. It doesn't seem to fit very well. I'm not sure if it's actually for this car or not, but it's in there. And you can see for yourself that there is a good amount of space in there. It's not necessarily class leading in terms of the amount of space in the boot, but let's have a look at some of the other features in here. So there is space for a cargo cover. You can see you've got speakers in the very back as well, and a subwoofer, and you've got a little netted section on the side here. There's a pop down shopping bag hook there as well, and underneath the boot floor, let's have a look. If I move this tray out of the way, underneath there's extra storage, so maybe you could put your cables in there. Let's see what's underneath. Yes, a tyre repair kit. There is no spare, unfortunately, and that seems to be the way of things with a lot of new EVs, and it might rule it out for you. I could totally understand. There are some EVs that have a spare, like the Chery Omoda E5 and also the Hyundai Kona. They have spare wheels if that is important to you. But this car also has a frunk. Let's check it out. Yes, it does have a frunk. So it is a sizable space. In fact, you'll see the capacity for it on your screen, and that might not necessarily just be good for charging cables. I reckon you could fit some luggage in there on a longer trip if you're struggling for boot space. Maybe you've got prams and other kid paraphernalia. That might be a godsend to have that little bit of extra space in the front end of your BYD Sealion 7. All right, let's have a look at the interior of the BYD Sealion 7, and it's not as outlandish as some of the models that have come before it from this brand, and that might be to appease some customers and maybe make it a bit more approachable for some. But it does still have some bling bling elements to it, right? So you've got this configurable ambient lighting. As you can see, it's changing colors right now. There are a few different color options that you can make it change to and from. There's even a little light panel behind this section that looks like it should house a screen. It doesn't, but at least it's got something interesting going on behind there. Then obviously there are the screens for the driver and your infotainment as well. So this screen in front of the driver is a 10.25 inch display unit. It does have a little bit of configurability to it. You can jump through some different menus on there, and it might take a little bit of getting used to as well, because there is some controllability from there too. That's pretty handy. It just means you need to get accustomed with these controls on the steering wheel. They are a little shiny and reflective, but thankfully not piano black. You do have a volume scroller there, which is a nice bonus. On this side, you'll find your cruise control systems, and also that's where you'll turn on cruise or your steering assistance, and that's where you can shortcut to your camera from there as well. And look, you do get a big, proud digital speedo there, but if you want more speedo-ness, well, you can not look at the pool when I'm there. There is a head-up display. It's got a few extra icons, as you can see there, the speed limit, your cruising speed set, and also lane keeping assistance being on. You can see that it's on right there. And then let's have a look at this 15.6 inch touchscreen media system, which, yes, can rotate if you want it to. I don't know why you'd want it to, but some people do. And one weird quirk that I've had with this car is when I press the camera button and it shows up that way, that's cool. But when I've put it back to landscape mode, the camera hasn't figured that out, and it makes it a little bit difficult to see what's going on when you're reversing sideways. Now, there are a bunch of controls on this screen. As you can see, there is a built-in sat-nav system if you want to use that. If you don't want to go into the sat-nav system, you can do wireless Apple CarPlay or Android Auto if you prefer, and I actually do prefer that, so that's what I've been using. Now, let's have a look at some of the other menus on offer in here. Like lots of the other BYD models that have come before it, it's a very deep software set, this one. So you've got multiple different menus to adjust different elements of the car. You can adjust your driving settings, you can adjust instruments, AC, seats, locks, notifications. There's so much stuff that you can adjust to basically tailor it to how you prefer it to be. That's one you might not want on all the time, the driver monitoring camera. But there's also a little handy drop-down box at the top. So you can quickly jump in here and jump to things that you don't want on. So if you don't want your lane keeping on, you can turn that off like so. You can turn on the child presence detection system It's not working for some reason. And you've got driver monitoring as well. For some reason, they're just blanking out. I don't know what's going on. Maybe it's just because the car's been sitting still for a while. Now, you can also go into this system to jump into more elements of the driving assistance. So you can tailor things to your preferences once more. Keep an eye on your energy and set charging timers if you wish, and also limitations on your battery pack. So there's plenty to dive into here, and you can even keep an eye on when your services are due and so forth, and see if there's anything wrong with the car. And there's more menus beyond that. So there's a quick menu set up right here, and that will allow you to jump into some other elements on screen. And you can go into the interior, change your ambient light, for instance, if you want to make it green or blue or tropical or whatever it may be. There's plenty of different ways to set up this system to suit your preferences. And here you'll find as well, you can fold in your mirrors. You can also turn on your seats, heating and cooling. So if I jump in there, I can turn on the ventilation, the heating, and also do some seat adjustment if I want to as well. Also just want to call out that there are multiple different ways to adjust this seat, including a, well, seat squab extension. So if you have really long legs, or you really like to have a lot of under thigh support, that will be really handy. But also if you're a shorty, just look how much that moves out of your way if you don't want it right there. So there's also multiple different controls down there for other elements, including lumbar adjust. Nice. The other way you can get into the climate settings is to tap the middle section in the bottom there, and it is pretty user-friendly. It also has your seats and steering wheel and windshield and mirror controls for ventilation and heating. You can also do your air purification settings. So if you want to, you can keep an eye on what the air is like inside and outside the car. And yes, again, settings, settings, settings. So there are so many things as part of this screen. Honestly, it would take me hours to show you everything on the screen, but just know that it is pretty simple to get your head around. There's more menus if you want to go into Amazon Music or the BYD store. Keep an eye on data, whatever it may be. You can even do karaoke if you want to, and you can open the trunk from there too if you want to. Okay, let's have a look at some of the other bits of the cabin here. So you do have a traditional glove box with a handle which opens, which is nice. There are bottle holders in the doors. There's nice soft elbow padding up there. This material that runs along here is a bit like swimsuit material, but there are nice finishes on top of the dashboard as well. Normal vents, you don't have to muck around going on the screen to adjust things there. And you've got an NFC card reader, so you can actually use an NFC card instead of a key if you want to. A 50-watt wireless charger for your phone, which is really high power. And it's also got a ventilation system there, so it won't overheat your phone, which is great. Back here, you'll find your gear selector. It's one of the, well, little toggle units, and a park brake button. Then you've also got this little toggle here. That's to adjust your regen braking. It doesn't have a single pedal braking mode, but it's got high and normal. And you've also got drive mode selection there. So you can see up on the screen, it will change some elements there if you put it into different drive modes. I've just been driving in normal most of the time. Your start button is down there too. And there are some shortcuts for fan. As you can see, it is a little glary in here because, well, it's got a massive glass roof as well. It does have a shade. If you don't want that open, then you can close it up. And it does really blanket out quite nicely if you do close it up, which is good because, well, some other cars don't offer that. There are grab handles up the top here. You've got illuminated vanity mirrors. They flop down in your way, so that should stop you from looking at yourself while you're driving. No sunglasses holder up there, but you do get these little press action lights, which is good. Auto dimming rear vision mirror as well. Yeah, you get the same mirror thing over here. And over there, you'll see there's a little camera system that looks at your eyes to keep an eye on what you're doing. And look, we'll get to what that impact is like in the driving section of this video, which is coming up soon. Oh, I forgot. There's even more storage down there. I've put my phone down there because the ventilation system for the wireless charger is actually pretty loud. So yes, you've got USB ports down there, a big storage area, and a 12-volt port too. So yeah, it's a smart cabin and it's pretty well presented. I just want to call out one thing though. So for me, I'm a little bit nitpicky. It's my job, I guess. I don't like this finish here. It sort of doesn't look finished to me, especially when you're looking at it from the driver's side over on the passenger side. It just doesn't quite look as well done as it could be, for me personally, but it doesn't affect the way that the car drives or the other perception of the interior. All right, let's jump into the second row and see what the space is like. Righto people, let's talk about the space back here because it is exceptional. There is so much room in here. It is a 4.8 meter long SUV, so there should be lots of space, but look at this. I'm sat behind my own normal driving position. I've got like almost a foot of room in front of my knees, plenty of foot room as well, and headroom is also pretty good, I have to say. This is a roomy cabin, there is no doubt about that, with a super comfy seat, which is underrated in my opinion. Very, very cushy. Now, good amenities back here too. So you've got those little touch sensitive lights up there, grab handles as well, some coat hooks too, no shades, which might be an issue for some. You do get the ambient lighting in the back, which will keep your kiddo entertained. Same sort of handle finish there as well. You've got these decent sized bottle holders in the doors, and you'll see there multi-pocket pockets. So you've got multiple different ways of storing items in the back of both seats. There you'll also see you've got directional air vents, and this high grade one gets rear seat heating as well. And there's a little pop down there with your USB A and C ports. Flat floor, which is bloody good, very handy, and space again, very, very roomy. You'll be able to fit some kiddo seats in the back. You've got ISOFIX in the window seats and 3 top tethers as well. And this flip down armrest section also gives you a little bit of extra storage and a pop out cup holder section there too. Oh, I want to show you something about the front cup holders that I forgot to show you before. So look at this. If I push this down, like right down, if you've got one of those big tall thermos cups or whatever, then you can raise it back up by pressing this button right here. Ready? That's so cool. It's one of the cool little features in this car. And look, honestly, I reckon the overall experience here is very promising. Both versions of the BYD Sealion 7 come with an 82.5 kilowatt hour LFP blade battery pack. That's the patented technology from this brand. And look, there is a bit of a difference when it comes to the driving range. The premium entry-level version has more, 482 kilometers WLTP. This performance one has 456, despite it having the same battery pack, but it has more power and more torque. So let's have a look at the charging situation over here. Yes, your charge port is on the back driver's side. Street parkers, take note, but let's talk about what you have on offer here. 11 kilowatt AC, so that's your plug there for AC, and that should take 0 to 100% about 8.5 hours at 11 kilowatts, but you'll need 3-phase power to do that. And DC charging, that's this little flap underneath. Yes, it's pretty good, 150 kilowatts, and that will mean a 10 to 80% charge time of about 30 minutes. Another thing to note, it does have vehicle to load charging, which is a good little thing to keep in mind. And you've got a handy little charging indicator right there that will tell you how much charge your battery's got at a glance. And that's nice to see, I reckon. Close. There we go. Alrighty, the entry-level version of the Sealion 7, the Premium, has a single electric motor at the rear axle, and it has 230 kilowatts of power, 380 Newton meters of torque. But if you choose this one, the dual motor all-wheel drive, you're getting a fair bit more, 390 kilowatts and 690 Newton meters. Of course, the extra motor means you're getting all-wheel drive, which is a nice bonus. It also adds a little bit of weight to the equation. So I'll put the weights on your screen now, and it is worth considering that there is also a difference when it comes to the towing capacity for these two different models. You'll see those numbers on your screen. So if you need to tow something, maybe the all-wheel drive will be the better bet. But you also need to keep in mind with this vehicle, well, the payload capacity is not fantastic. You've got a maximum of 410 kilos for both versions. So don't go thinking that you'll be able to fit you and 4 big heavy friends in there and all their luggage too. It's just something you need to keep in mind, I reckon. Okay, let's talk about the drive experience in the BYD Sealion 7. Now this is the high grade version, so it's the really, really fast one. And I would just prefer not to have the really, really fast one personally because, well, I don't see the benefit of having a car that can do 4.5 seconds 0 to 100 for my day-to-day life. Even though it does offer you all-wheel drive traction, and well, it does throw you back in your seat momentum. Okay, I'll do it just to show you that it's really, really bloody fast, but let me just go like a flat throttle for a sec. Yeah, it is really, really bloody fast. That is the whole point of dual motor all-wheel drive in an EV like this. If you need that, then fine. I don't need that. I don't need to snap my neck every single time I drive it. So I'm just going to put it back into one of the more sedate driving modes, normal, as I've been driving in all week. And I think that it is more acceptable in that mode because, well, it is pretty good in terms of the acceleration response. It's not too slow, not by any stretch of the imagination, but it just makes me think that as is the case in lots of these dual motor all-wheel drive EVs that I'm spending time in recently, I don't necessarily think I need to have dual motor all-wheel drive. I just like the purity of a rear-wheel drive experience, and I think the rear-wheel drive Sealion 7 would be a purer experience. But hey, if you find yourself in a downpour like I'm just experiencing right now, maybe all-wheel drive will be beneficial. Okay, so what about the rest of the drive experience? Well, I like some elements of it. I don't like other bits of it. So the thing I don't really like is the ride. Now it has 20-inch wheels with low profile tires, so I think that it does feel a little bit wobbly bobbly at times. It does have also frequency selective damping, so it should counteract whatever you experience on the road. And the actual ride over lumpy bumpy sections is not too bad. It just feels like the whole body does a bit of this sideways twisting motion more often than I would like. Otherwise, the handling and the steering is mostly pretty enjoyable. I don't think it's the most dynamic car that I've driven, not by any stretch, not in this segment, but it is, I mean, predictable in the way that it handles itself. This one does have really good tires. They're Michelin Pilots and they are exceptionally grippy. So that could be helping it feel better than maybe it actually is in terms of the dynamics. The visibility, I mean, it's got a fantastic surround view camera system, but it's also got really thick pillars, which means that when you're pulling up to an intersection or something like that, well, you might have to actually rely on the car's pedestrian monitoring system to stop you from running into someone, because it is a really big blind spot in front of you. And the mirrors are large as well. And your over-shoulder vision, not very good either. So if you're prone to being worried about what you can see around the car from the driver's seat, I would thoroughly suggest going for a test drive in the environments that you always drive in to see if you can deal with it or not. It is a little bit less than good, in my opinion, the visibility from the driver's seat in this car. But yes, the technology does counteract that to a degree. It's got a very, very good surround view camera, so that might be good for you. Okay, what about efficiency then? Well, you'll see a couple of numbers on your screen. Firstly, I'll show you the official combined energy consumption figure for the single motor premium version. That's okay, not as good as some others. It is a rather heavy vehicle, so that might play into that. And then you've got the dual motor performance model, which you'll see the official number for on your screen now. And if you're wondering what I've seen over my time testing this vehicle, which has included the sort of stuff I'm doing right now, urban driving, bit of commuting, but also I did a long distance drive as well. I'll put the figure on your screen as an average over my time in this car. So that might be what you will be able to achieve, but hey, you tell me if you think it's good enough in the comments. At the time I'm filming this, there is no ANCAP or Euro NCAP safety rating for the Sealion 7, but it has all the tech and spec that you would expect to achieve a high score. Things like autonomous emergency braking with pedestrian, cyclist and junction detection. There's also lane keeping assistance, emergency lane keeping, adaptive cruise control, and you've also got things like blind spot monitoring and a blind spot camera system. There's front and rear cross traffic alert with assistance, so it will brake for you if it doesn't think you're going to. There's also stuff like a brilliant surround view camera system, which is multimodal and very, very good if you are nervous about parking. The vision in this car is not as good as it could be in some ways, but there's also all the safety tech that might otherwise annoy you. Things like a driver monitoring camera system, which does beep and bong a little bit, but it's not too bad compared to others that I've driven. And there's also a speed sign recognition system, and thankfully it's not too consistent either. All those things are pretty easy to tailor to your requirements as well, although some of them you will have to turn off every single time you drive the car if you don't like them. Now, when it comes to airbags, there are 9 fitted to this vehicle. You've got dual front side, a front center airbag. There's also rear side airbags and curtain airbags for both rows of seats. Safe. In Australia, BYD offers a 6-year, 150,000 kilometre warranty, which is sort of in the middle ground for a bunch of brands. Some offer 5, some offer 7, some offer 10 these days. But it does have also an 8-year warranty for the battery pack, as you would expect. That is the norm these days. And beyond that, when it comes to your servicing, you need to do an initial checkup, and then it's every 12 months or 20,000 Ks. So it might be great if you are a commuter that does a lot of distance, and there's a cap price servicing plan as well that spans out to 10 years or 200,000 Ks. And the average service cost over that 10-year period is just under $400 per year to maintain, which is not too bad, especially if you do a lot of distance. It will work out pretty well. And if you do service your vehicle with BYD's network of approved workshops, well, they'll top up your roadside assistance each time. That's about $100 as it is. So not too bad when it comes to the ownership front, in my opinion. I guess the biggest concern for some might be resale values. I don't necessarily think I would spend all the extra to get into the all-wheel drive version. It is fast, and yes, that might be good for some people, but I reckon the entry-level version just makes so much more sense. For $9,000 less, you're still getting plenty of spec and tech, and I think it could be the bargain of the year when it comes to the mid-size SUV segment and the livability of EVs. There are some cheaper ones, but some of them aren't as livable as this. So tell me what you think in the comments section below. Have your say, and if you haven't already, please subscribe and ring the bell to keep up to date with all of my reviews, whether it's EVs or otherwise. I do heaps. Thanks for watching. I'll see you later.